2014, Americans were expected to live 78.9 years. Now it is 78.6, a difference of a few months. The reason for it, the National Center for Health Statistics blames opioid abuse. And Jeremy Campbell has been tracking the impact on opioid abuse in Atlanta for more than 2 years as part of our in-depth triangle investigation. And Jeremy, the group behind these new numbers says this really proves the opioid epidemic is accelerating pretty dramatically, in fact.
Think about this for that point. In 2013, the U.S. life expectancy was 78.9. Now we're at 78.6. That's the wrong direction. Now, in that time, we've seen the number of Americans abusing pain pills skyrocket. Georgia ranks in the top 11 of states nationwide for overdose deaths. According to the Georgia Attorney General, there were 1,400 overdose deaths in Georgia, in our state, just last year, and 982 were from opioids. Those numbers, they're all coming to life in today's headline that life expectancy is now affected and is dropped.
Your team has been investigating this epidemic since the triangle was debuted in 2015. It started by counting local heroin-related deaths, and then you started really connecting the dots on a map that I think shocked everybody who saw it then and continues to see it now. What's the connection to the opioid supply chain with heroin specifically?
There is a direct connection to that. To understand that, you need to know that people get hooked on opioids after 90 days. That's according to research by the CDC. So what happens if they're cut off from their prescriptions? Well, many of them turn to drug dealers, and pills often cost more than heroin. Heroin is cheap, and it's readily available in our area.
This just seems like an incredibly challenging, growing problem. Is there hope for somebody out there, you know, feeling alone in all this? So many people, it starts innocently enough with a legitimate prescription, and then you wonder, where does it go from there? When you look at the totality of the issue, it can feel a little hopeless.
It can. That word hope is so important. We always say this, and that's because it is so important. If someone is alive, there is hope. There's so many paths to recovery, and the first step is asking for help. There's a variety of recovery available here in Georgia. It's all about finding the best program for the individual, and a good place to start is the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse.
The conversation is the most important part, because you got to take the stigma away from even talking about it, or how can you ask for help? And
Absolutely.
how can you make a difference in that?
That's what we're trying to do by covering it.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. It's been such terrific work. The entire series is streaming on our website right now. Go to 11live.com and search The Triangle.